Okay, the next step is, now that we've finished powdering and let it fully set, I've coloured a little bit of my skin around the wound just to tint it, as the powder was a little bit warm for my skin tone, just to match it in. The wound is fairly set, but do be careful still, just in case we don't want to knock it. Now it's the colouring. We have two different colours. We have a red and a black grease paint. So these are oil-based paints. They will go on top of the silicone gel, but they won't fully set. So they will be, if you knock it against something, it will smudge. So do be careful with that. We're going to use the red colour to colour in the inside of the wound, not going outside of the edges, just keep it to the inside. Going up the sides, if you built the sides up, down in the bottoms, really colour it in. We're going to mix a little bit of the black with the red to create like a mid-tone, make it a little bit darker, to colour the base of the wound, because we want to create an illusion. So going from light to dark colours, putting the deeper colours in the base of the wound will create that illusion. And then the black, finally, we'll put just a smidge in the very base of the wound to create that depth that we want. So we will take a cotton bud. If you have a very fine paintbrush, that will work as well. But I will use a cotton bud like most of you will have. We will take the red grease paint. Get a little bit on your cotton bud, not too much. You can pinch the cotton bud if you want to create the point a little bit finer. Just get a little bit on the edge of your cotton bud. We're going to go on the inside and then work up the inside of the edges you've created, just to colour it. Now don't be too hard, because you might, if it's not fully set, move the wound. So just up the side of the edges, and make sure to cover the bottom. Try and keep it on the inside of where you've made the cut, the insertion. Because the blood will do the rest on the outside. But just follow your cut down. Really get that colour in there. Really getting it in there. Using a fine paintbrush, this will be even easier. But the cotton bud is a very cheap, disposable way of doing this. And it is things we've used on music videos and in workshops when you're doing a mass number of people. So now that you've got the red on the inside of your wound, what I would say is just to make sure the a full darker layer is on the very base of the wound, because that's where we're going to create the depth going forward here. Stroking it will get a lot of it in, but if you pat it, it tends to build up the colour rather than smoothing it around. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. You take the red, touch of the red, and a tiny bit of the black. The black's very strong, so do just use a tiny bit. Mix it in with the red just to make a deeper colour of red. So if I do this, this is the red colour we have, the base red colour, and this is the darker red colour. It's very off black, but just a darker range of the red that we've got so far already. Now with this, we place it in the very bottom of the wound. You want to, in a way, steer away from the edges and put it down the very bottom of the wound. Just pat it in there, just to create the depth of the wound that we are going for. Now I see it's starting to create the illusion of where it's much deeper than it actually is. Here we go. Now you just want to get a layer, can ever get a new cotton bed or use the same one. I'm just going to pinch the end of mine to get them very much of a pointy edge as I can. Taking a little bit of the black. I don't want to put too much on because I can always build up the colour, but once it's on there, it's very hard to take it away. So taking just a little bit, put it in the very base of the wound. In the very base, patting it down. So I haven't gone full black there, I'm just, in a sense, making the red that's there darker. You can always go back in with some of the red on the edges if you feel like it needs it. Remember, we do have the blood to go on the top, which will help create that more realistic wound. And you can do, if you've got one of the spare lolly sticks, to get a little bit on the edge if you've got a very fine cut, and use that to fill in the colour. Just got a little bit on the outside, so I'll just pat that a little bit. And always go back with the red. And just pat it out. That's kind of the thing you're looking for there. The darker colours in the base of the wound and the lighter reds covering the inside.